Hi, everyone. Welcome to Power Tracks. It's a beautiful day in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And Army Armstrong, over the last 3 weeks, we have seen some fantastic races.
Well, the wild finishes are just a part of it. Just to get to the finish, these fellows have been getting upside down on their heads, flipping. You know, that just shows how aggressive these drivers are competing for this second national championship. And they've got a unique track to compete on this afternoon because normally, Richard, we're running on 300- and 400-foot long tracks. Man, they're using the whole straightaway of the world-famous Milwaukee Mile, 600 feet, 1 mogul, 2 jumps. Last night they were clearing equivalent of 12 cars in the jump, Richard.
And, of course, we also have all the national point leaders on hand. However, Rod Litzow in USA 1 has won 3 straight weeks in a row.
Rod Litzow is doing stuff in this sport nobody's ever done. Earlier in the year, he won 4 in a row. Then he couldn't buy a win. Now he's coming back with 3 in a row. He's going for 4th in a row this week. And he keeps creeping up on his national point chase. The guy that's having the biggest problem is Gary Porter with the Carolina Crusher because he's not falling back real far, but they're taking chips away from him. The one constant here is the equalizer. This rookie staying out there, but they're closing on him, and they're closing fast.
You think it's going to be as wild as it has been?
Yeah, I definitely do. Rod Litzow, in an interview last week, says, when my truck looks like it's worst out of shape, that's when it's running best. And believe me, last week, he was scaring me to death on the end of that track.
Well, if you've got a seatbelt at home, buckle it in right now. The wild action is straight ahead on Power Tracks.
Power Tracks and the Renegades TNT Monster Truck Challenge is brought to you by the Heartbeat of America, today's Chevy trucks.
And we are back in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Richard Leake and Army Armstrong for this Monster Truck Challenge event. And Army, already we have got bad news for the fans. More about that in just a moment, but it involves 3 of their favorite monster trucks. This is Carolina Crusher Gary Porter. He was our quick qualifier. He gets a bye run. Then it's Jersey Outlaw Mike Wine against Mr. Twister in our first round of side-by-side action. King Crunch and Scott Stevens against Pablo Cruz and Toughing Up. Then we'll see the Mad Dog, driven by one half of the Breen Boys Racing Toys operation, against Johnny K, John Kwasniewski, and Buffalo Trimmer. Jammin' John Moore, the No Problem Ford, will be taking on Super Dave Weissort. And Nightlife, Jesse Berge, playing for keeps, takes on Gary Wiggins and Mopar Magic. And then it's your current national points leader, Dangerous David Morris, the equalizer, against Bennett Clark and Clydesdale. Now to the story. One of the most feared monster trucks in America is sitting behind pit wall.
Well, he came out, Richard. He made one run, and you can see the wall. This is what happened. When he made the run, he came over the final jump. The replay comes up on the screen. Everybody's on their feet. They've heard about the Gravedigger. Now they're getting a chance to see him. First jump was smooth. Second jump. Now watch what happens at the end. Bam! Puts it out of the ballpark. Takes a weird bounce as he's driving, trying to bring it around. The truck slides into the wall.
And once again, it's one run Anderson.
You have any idea what caused the accident?
Not really. I know when I got right down here by the wall, I was on the brakes, and it didn't seem like the brakes was locking up, so I crammed on them real hard, and I got in a real dusty spot, and the truck spun around, and I ended up hitting the wall and hitting the pole and messing the front of the truck up.
All the damage was done to the front suspension?
Yeah, it broke a tie rod in and a steering cylinder and mashed the sheet metal up on the front of it.
So Gravedigger is out of it, but so is Rowdy Rod Litzow in USA 1.
Litzow came out knowing he only had one run in the engine. He puts it on kill. Look at that. Clears them all, Richard.
But on that qualifying effort, Rod broke down.
Well, from the way we're flying so high in that, what happened is I snapped the bell housing. It cracked in half from the pressure of the bounce. Made it split right on top, so it spun the training, so I can't bring it back in here today. It's too long a job to get back in the pit and put it together.
And then there were 3 behind pit wall, as Bobby Breen and Wildhair, during his qualifying effort, he also bit the bullet.
Well, Breen had been having engine problems all year long, trying to get the handle on the truck. It wasn't to be the case. Right before the final jump, kicked a rod out the side of the block. A tough break.
So USA 1 out of it. Wildhair out of it. Gravedigger out of it. And we talked to Dennis Anderson about the tough luck he's had this year in Gravedigger.
Well, this year has been up and down. You know, we've had some good times and a lot of bad times. We've had a lot of breakages, you know, the new season, and it's been tough. You know, we've been working on the truck every single weekend. You know, we're trying to improve the truck and get it better, and we just I don't know. We just got some problems that we can't work out. We fix one thing and then the next thing breaks, you know. But I do throw down some real wild passes, you know, and the truck has always got an excuse for braking. And the way I drive it super hard, and that's the way I want the truck to run. So we've got to build the truck better so it will run hard all the time.
I'll tell you, I kid Dennis Anderson about calling him one-run Anderson, but I don't mean it in a mean way. I just miss seeing the Gravedigger.
And I know what you mean. I tell you, he's a guy in a blaze of glory. When you see the Gravedigger, that's what you're going to see.
Well, let's go side-by-side racing. Round number 1. Coming out first, King Crunch, still wounded from that rollover a couple of weeks ago in Kalamazoo. That's Scott Stevens. King Crunch taking on the rookie, Pablo Cruz. Toughing up, it's a Ford from Phoenix.
Both trucks pretty much the same as far as engineering. They kind of ease over the first jump, and they'll start to dial in the horsepower. They're coming over the second obstacle, being a car. Now they come to the finish line in. Chevrolet out, Ford trying to come back. No, Chevrolet going to that next round.
So with no front end, no rear end, it doesn't matter. Scott Stevens gets the win, moves to the quarterfinals.
Scott Stevens, you're going to the next round, but the word had in the pit area a little bit earlier that you may just be a little bit afraid of this track because of the flip you took 2 weeks ago in Kalamazoo. Is there any truth in that?
Oh, definitely. You know, it's just hard to get geared up going as fast as some of the guys are going. It's real fast, and, you know, I seen dirt the other night, and the dirt didn't bother me, but, you know, I don't want to get upside down and look at asphalt. You know, I heard a lot more parts. But, you know, every round I do, I feel a little more confident. You know, we're getting a little quicker each round. You know, right now we're just running what it takes to win. So, you know, hopefully we'll have to go a little faster each round.
I'll tell you, Scott better get that confidence back in a hurry, or he's not going to last here in Milwaukee very long.
No, because he not only has the asphalt track they're running on, these walls are intimidating the drivers. Just a little bit off, left and right of the track, are the world-famous walls.
That is John Breen, the driver of Mad Dog, the Chevrolet out of Barnett, Missouri, 7 years behind the wheel of a monster, taking on from Lackawanna, New York. That will be Johnny K. John Kwasniewski, Buffalo Trimmer. This is a truck that has really been coming on strong of late.
Kwasniewski leaves that starting line right on the money. John Bream, I don't know. He was kind of worried about it. Bream's trying to hold off Kwasniewski. They're coming to the final jump. Richard, horsepower's going to win. It'll go to New York.
It's Buffalo Trimmer. We're not going to call that an upset, as Johnny K has been coming on strong of late. He gets the win. He advances to the quarterfinals. We advance to a commercial break, but when we come back, more great first round side-by-side action on ESPN. I'm Richard Leake, along with Army Armstrong. We're in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and already controversy. In the race you just saw between the Mad Dog and Buffalo Trimmer, John Breen is livid at track officials. He thinks Buffalo Trimmer should have been disqualified.
What it is, we're going to keep an eye on. The rerun comes up. You watch the flagman. He reaches forward. Now his hand will move, the trimmer will move, and Breen sits still. I don't know when the light turns.
Well, you are down trackside with the driver of the Mad Dog, John Breen. Let's find out what John thinks about the situation with these track officials.
John, let's be blunt. You're upset over that starting line in the first round. What happened up there?
Well, the other guy jumped the light. They said his truck didn't move him off line, but if your truck moves at all and that you got a red light, the man's out. You know, I protested. Nobody come and told me. They looked at the video or nothing. You know, it's a bunch of as far as I'm concerned.
I'll tell you something, Army. I'm going to have to agree with John Breen on that. I think it was a terrible call, and I think there should have been a disqualification of Buffalo Trimmer.
That makes 3 of us.
So we're unanimous on our decision, but it doesn't do,
don't count. Yeah,
it doesn't do John Breen any good. He's out of the competition, but still in it is Mike Wine, the Jersey Outlaw Ford from Pensacola, New Jersey, taking on Dan Stazak. He is from Wisconsin, driving the Mr. Twister. It's a Ford against a Ford.
Now, these Fords, even though they look alike, one of them is a race truck, that being the white truck that runs with it. The other one's Mr. Twister, more or less a show truck, something you see kind of at your local fair or what have you. What I'm trying to do is bring out there is a difference in these monster trucks, and if you're going to chase the TNT points, you better have yourself a race truck.
Well, Mr. Twister may be a show truck, but he didn't show very well here in Milwaukee, as the Madman, Mike Wine, and the Jersey Outlaw moves on with the win. He now joins other trucks in the quarterfinals.
Well, Mike Wine, you survived probably one of the toughest qualifying sessions, but it looked like you were in trouble at the end of that qualifying session. You're coming back and running good. What's going on out there today?
Oh, it's a very rough course, and I took a bad bounce over the first set of cars. The nut that holds the distributor down came loose, turned my timing back on me, and the motor cut out. I'm just glad I got to come back to be able to race, and it's running fine now.
All right, coming up next, Dave Wysorek, Super Dave, and the Nightlife Chevy, and he is going to be taking on the Ford of Jammin' John Moore, no problem. That is John Breen, the driver of Mad Dog, and he is still livid at the track official for, in our opinion, a terrible call that has knocked him out of this competition. But I guess that's what you call spilled milk. There's not much you can do about it now.
Yeah, once the call's been made, it's been made. But I guarantee you, everybody's going to be keeping an eye on that starting. I wonder why they don't have the starter where he can actually see the light turn green. See, the light's behind the starter. He thinks it turned. I don't know. You know, in drag racing, I came from that sport. You could always tell when the green went. This sport is a decision call by that track official. Speaking of decision calls, look at this. Ford. Oh, what a run. John Moore put the Ford into that next round.
We said it earlier that John Moore is driving more aggressive with each and every racing event. It showed right there as he got the upset win over Dave Wysorek and Nightlife. John Moore moves on.
We started going pretty good. I think the cars are really going away, Army. I think the course is disintegrating real fast.
When a course goes away, when the cars go away, that means it's actually going to get faster for you guys, though.
No, not necessarily. We're hitting bigger holes in there. The front tires are catching some sort of holes in there. I haven't looked at it, but I'm going to go down and look at it. There's some big holes down there. They're catching the tires and throwing the trucks now.
John Moore bringing up an interesting observation, Army. That is the junk cars. Remember, we're in the far north, Milwaukee, where the junk cars would be different from southern cars. Army's down trackside to explain it all.
A lot of salt is used on the roads up north, and it eats away. It erodes at the cars as they drive up and down the highway. When they go into the crunch pile and they eventually wind up in monster truck races for these fellas to run over, they collapse instantly, and it makes the track a whole lot more dangerous and a lot faster. The northern wreck cars, they're faster than the southern wreck cars.
Gee, I've never heard it put that way. I can't imagine wrecked cars racing each other.
Yeah, we're up north and we're having some fun in Milwaukee.
Weird things happen.
Hey, look who's coming out for the Dodge people, Richard.
That is Gary Wiggins and the Mopar Magic. He runs a blown 440 cubic inch engine. He's from North Carolina. There's my buddy. That's a big old guy, too. Jesse Berge, the Gentle Giant. He's from Wyoming, Michigan. He's driving the Chevrolet Plains Pursuit, sponsored by Auto Value. And this ought to be a pretty even race.
It definitely should be a good race. And both of these fellas are really trying to put that first win under their belt on the national circuit. Both trucks look to be awfully even. 440 cubic inch Dodge going against the Chevrolet. Dodge is out just a little bit. Oh, Berge's coming after it. Into the wall. The Dodge will go on. Jesse Berge doing some heads-up driving, Richard.
Takes a licking, but keeps on ticking. But he's got to get beat in this race as Gary Wiggins and Mopar Magic gets the win in the Dodge.
Richard, it's kind of amazing how the sport comes down to a bounce. I want you to watch Berge. He's a player right now, but a bad bounce bangs him over to the left, comes right into our camera angle, picking the wheels up. Grateful that the wall was there. That'll put him out of the race. The Dodge will move on.
But good driving by Jesse Berge to stave off a possible tragedy. Let's go trackside with the winner, Wiggins.
John Moore brought to the fact about the holes out there, the fact that the holes are developing in the track, and it looked like you guys had your hand full as a result of those holes.
Yeah, we did, and I'm having a lot of problems with the steering on account of it, too, because it's throwing you all around the track.
What about the fire that came from underneath the vehicle on the final jump? What was that a result of? You got a little flash fire.
Basically because I shifted it too late, really. I kind of was having my mind on the steering more than I did the tack, really.
So Gary Wiggins moves on to the quarterfinals. He's going to be joined by one of these two guys, either David Morris, your current national points leader, driving the Equalizer Chevrolet. He's out of Springfield, Tennessee, or the guy already on the starting line, Bennett Clark, Clydesdale, Powder Springs, Georgia. Bennett is the athlete that's pretty well done it all. He's involved in hunting, he's basketball, track, junior Olympics, rodeo, bull riding, monster. There's not much he hasn't done.
And on his spare time, he drives monster trucks.
Yeah.
What you can look over here, Richard, is watch the Equalizer. He'll go out. He will not really wing the engine. He goes out. He'll back on the throttle, again, off, on, off. He just got an area that truck's working, and it's good enough to win. Meanwhile, the Clydesdale was coming after him, but the Equalizer moved to that next round.
Well, Bennett Clark had a lot of bouncing problems in the Clydesdale machine. He gets beaten. David Morris moves on. We're going to move on to a commercial. Back with more in a moment on ESPN. We are back at the Wisconsin State Fairgrounds, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, as we're about to begin the quarterfinals of action. I'm Richard Leake, joined by Army Armstrong. Here's our first matchup. Ought to be a good one, too. It's Mike Wine, the Jersey Outlaw. He's from New Jersey, in the Ford against Carolina Crusher Gary Porter from Wadesboro, North Carolina. They're both about equal in horsepower. They're both the same age. and they've both been in monster trucks about the same amount of time.
Yeah, but there's one big difference, Richard.
What?
One's a Ford, the other one's a Chevrolet. Who's going to go to the next round? We're going to find out. They leave side by side. Looks good. Looks clean. Second jump. Still a good right now. Who's going to make the most horsepower? Gary Porter bangs it out the end of Milwaukee.
He only won it, though, because the Heartbreaker, the Jersey Outlaw, got a little bit out of shape midway down the track. That is what prevented him from getting a win. But congratulations to Gary Porter, Carolina Crusher. He now goes to the semifinals.
Gary Porter, we talked to you about the possibility of making a big day, either the Buffalo Trimmer or King Crunch in the next round.
Well, normally when I race them, I usually win them. I'm going to have to still run a good straight race and push it to the limit.
Are you feeling confident today? You seem, to look at you, look like the old Gary Porter's back.
I am. I feel real confident today. I have had a few bad days in the past, but I think I'm back 100% today.
We'll see you in that next round.
Okay, thank you.
Mike Wine, what happened when you came off that first set of cars?
When I went back to the pits, I was having problems before. Changing air pressure in the tires, I think I kind of messed up. I put a little bit too much air into them. Gave me a violent bounce over the first set of cars, and it rode on its nose for a while, and it was just better to let off of it.
So Mike Wine is going to head back to New Jersey. This is King Crunch. It's Scott Stevens. I kid him. I call him Pretty Boy out on the track because all the girls seem to like him. He's taking on Johnny K, the driver of the Buffalo Trimmer. John is from New York. It ought to be a pretty good race here.
Both big block Chevrolets running alcohol for fuel. Two of the most powerful trucks on the circuit. They're going to square off against each other. It will be a driver's race. Look at Stevens come on the mid-range. They almost got together. The Texan's going to go into the next round. But he had to backpedal over the final jump to go into that next round, Richard.
They not only almost got together, I'm not sure. I think they might have gotten together. The win to Scott Stevens and King Crunch, but a hell of a race from Johnny K.
Scott, it looks like you fellas actually got together coming off that second jump, or first jump.
I felt just a little bump, but the track's so rough I couldn't really tell if it was him or me just hitting bad. We're just doing what we got to do. We're still not running that hard, and I know next round we're really going to have to gear up and get down the track a little faster.
And look who is at the starting line. The driver that was livid with track officials, and he had every reason to be earlier as he really got roasted out of a call. John Breen, and the Mad Dog gets to come back as a fast loser, and he is taking on the no problem of John Moore. I'll tell you, I've got to be rooting for John Breen after that, what happened to him earlier.
Yeah, he said if he can get past the first 36 inches in this track, he's got an even chance. Let's see what's going to happen. Look at it, Chevrolet. He's out. Now, Moore starts to come back for the Ford. Cam Richard. Whoa, almost on his head. The Ford goes to the ramp, and they're having trouble shutting these ramps down this afternoon.
You notice we had the same reaction as John Moore nearly went on his side. He is getting a resounding win this time. Look at him. He is pumped up, thumbs up to the crowd. He goes into the semifinals. Let's see who's going to join him. That is sitting on the inside, the equalizer of Dangerous David Morris on the outside, Mopar Magic Gary Wiggins. And I'm going to say it right now, no contest here.
I don't know what's going to happen here. Equalizer can only go so far. You notice he jumps out. Now, he'll hold his engine at a certain RPM. He will not be able to really go upstairs with. However, far out that he is far enough to win. The dive could come back on him. He's not going to do it. The equalizer is still not 100%, Richard, but he's still alive. He's still chasing these points.
And he is again in the semifinals. And that's who we've got. Crusher from Carolina, King Crunch, no problem equalizer. All the action straight ahead on ESPN.
Power Tracks and the Renegades TNT Monster Truck Challenge is brought to you by TNT Motorsports, the nation's leader in pulling and monster truck racing.
If it's power you're looking for, here it comes. ESPN and TNT Motorsports present Turning the Power On. 60 minutes of America's hottest new motorsports, truck and tractor pulling, and wild monster truck racing, featuring your favorite TNT stars and the monster trucks that fly in the sky. Plus outrageous crazy car bloopers, all for only $19.95. Call the Power Hotline 1-800-544-1000 and bring the power home. It's pure TNT.
And welcome back to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It is time for the semifinals. Richard Leak, Army Armstrong, Scott Stevens, King Crunch, ready to rock and roll. He is on the outside lane. On the inside is going to be Gary Porter and Carolina Crusher. Remember, the winner goes to the championship. This has got to be more of an important race to Gary Porter than it has to be for Scott Stevens.
Yeah, it definitely is. That's the reason Porter leads real quick with him. Porter's trying to hang on to this point battle. He's out. Now there's right side by side. What's going to happen? They get ready. Look at the back of Stevens' truck. He's in trouble. Stevens is heading the suspension part. Now we got another one into the wall. Whoa, you talk about a race. One truck completely out of shape. Into the wall. But look on the right. You notice hanging down from King Crunch. He's already in trouble.
And Gary Porter, a magnificent job of driving. He almost flipped it on the driver's side.
Both drivers, Richard, both drivers doing some heads-up driving.
Let's get the word on the win from Gary Porter.
What happened out there? That looked like a war.
It did. I sort of took a weird bounce over to the right and slammed into the wall. I knew I was going to have to push my truck to the limit to beat King Crunch, and I just had to do what I had to do.
That's exactly what you're doing. Now, can you do what you got to do to get to this next round?
I think I can. I think all the damage I have is a little bent rim and a flat tire, and I think I can get it back up.
Well, you guys are talking about a lot of doing there, Army, and John Moore wants to do right now. He has yet to get into a championship this year. This is one opportunity he's got, but he's got to knock off David Morris and the Equalizer to get to the championship.
I don't know what to tell you right now other than John Moore's been pulling upsets all day long. He could be a player. Again, Equalizer out just far enough to hang on to the win. Now, watch it. He won't hurt the engine. He's backpedaling right now. Yeah, it's amazing. He's just going out far enough. He'll run the engine to 8,000 and then back on the throttle right there.
What happened to John Moore?
I don't have any idea. He just wasn't the run for him.
So the championship is set up. It is number 1 and number 2 Equalizer against Carolina Crusher. That coming up in a few moments. But first, this guy is called Jerry Allen, the stunt man of steel.
Not our driver education instructor, Richard.
But watch what he does. Going 60 miles an hour, he will go crashing into 2 cars.
Hey, what can you say? He's having fun doing it. The people are loving it.
I don't know. He looks like he's got a little bit of a headache there. Coming out of the car, look at him shaking the cobwebs out.
Yeah. He's been around a long time. He's awfully good at it, isn't he, Richard Lee?
That is a stunt man of steel, Jerry Allen. The crowd appreciating that. That's, by the way, all you kids at home, that's not what you might try with your mom and dad's car.
Yeah, he's a professional stunt man. Final round coming up. Look at the national points. The cream always comes to the top. That's where we are right now. Carolina Crusher going against the Equalizer, Richard.
David Morris, currently number 1 in the point standings. Gary Porter, currently number 2. They're both Chevrolets. And the crowd is ready for this. You can't get any better than having number 1 against number 2.
But neither truck is operating at 100%. We told you the story about the Equalizer. He goes out, hangs it there. Crusher trying to come back on him. Porter's out of shape, has to backpedal. The Equalizer, and he's having problems too, Richard. Oh, man, the wall is not safe at all this afternoon. Equalizer almost got into the wall at the end.
Now you see why we call him Dangerous David Morris. And in a replay of that championship race, very close until midway down the track. Then the Equalizer shows his power, but right there at the end, he gets out of shape and goes into the wall. But David Morris gets the championship win.
An awfully wild ride. We noticed right at the end, you didn't have any steering on that truck is what it looked like to us.
I had no steering at all. I went from the first set of cars all the way to the second set and down here with no steering, and I was having to fight hard.
So a couple important things happened this afternoon in Milwaukee. First of all, David Morris and the Equalizer gets a badly needed win to maintain a slim points lead over Gary Porter and Carolina Crusher. And that's our second story. Crusher gets a little breathing space between himself and USA 1. However, any of these monster trucks could still capture